Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us this evening for a webinar in the series hosted by the Design School at Arizona State University about career pathways available to students who are interested in the graduate programs offered by the Design School. As you may have noticed from the title of this webinar, tonight we're going to be talking about how the Master of Science in Innovation and Venture Development will prepare students to actually create their own career paths. So the Master of Science in Innovation and Venture Development is a one-year master's program at ASU. It launched this fall 2020 with a cohort of 34 students. And this program is a transdisciplinary partnership between 3 schools at ASU, the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, the W.P. Carey School of Business, and the Design School within the Herberger Institute for Design and the Arts. My name is Jackie Collins, and I'm the graduate coordinator for the MSIVD program. So I am here to answer any questions that you might have about the program and the application process. So feel free to contact me with any questions that you have. I'm going to get started by giving you a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about this evening. So in just a moment, I will introduce you to Cheryl Heller, the program director for MSIVD. She is going to be giving you an overview of the program itself and talking more about career opportunities that are available to students who are participating in this program. I'll have a few moments at the end then to talk to you more specifically about the admission requirements and what you can expect from the application process. And then we should have some time as well for a Q&A. So if you do have any questions at any point throughout the presentation, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box in the Zoom webinar screen, and we will get to all of those at the end. So right now I will introduce you to Cheryl Heller. As I mentioned, she's the program director for MSIVD. She's the director of design integration and a professor of practice and innovation design at ASU. And her title within the university is also a partnership between the 3 schools involved in the MSIVD program. So with that, Cheryl, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jackie, and thank you everyone for coming. I'm very happy to have a chance to talk to you about this new program. MSIVD is the first transdisciplinary graduate program at Arizona State University, so it's quite an unusual and special program. When we first started planning this program, and I'll talk to you about the reason why we did it, we were simply thinking that there was no program that helped people wherever, whatever discipline they come from. There was no program that really combined everything that someone needs to know in order to become a creative leader and an entrepreneur. And there are still lots of reasons why that's important. But what's become apparent as we have launched the program is that we're looking at a different situation than we were a couple of years ago when we started. And what we find is that there's a greater need than ever for people to understand how to create their own future, how to identify things that are important to them, and how to develop the skills to really create solutions to those problems, not only create them, but implement them, and implement them with a knowledge of how to work with all the different kinds of people and the different kinds of disciplines that are necessary. We talk about this program teaching people how to navigate uncertainty and how to have a sense of agency for their own capabilities and the experience. And you'll see, we'll talk about how this program actually not just gives you the knowledge, but gives you experience. What is unique about this program, as both Jackie and I mentioned, it's a partnership between 3 schools. But it's also rare in that we are interested in having students with any kind of undergraduate degree. We have filmmakers, we have designers, we have rocket scientists, we have veterinarians, we have economists, and that's what makes the program exciting. So these people from different backgrounds are working together and learning from each other. So any undergraduate degree is all you need to apply. It's experience-based, so while you're in this one-year program, you will launch a venture and you will understand how to launch a venture, what to think about, what the phases are, what you need to know. And you'll leave with the skills of the future. So what that means is that the skills that employers are looking for are the power skills. They're the human skills. It's critical thinking, it's creativity, it's communication. And these are the things that are an essential part of the MSIVD program. And the last point here, we have spent a lot of effort assembling an ecosystem of mentors and experts who are deeply committed to the success of our students. And so these mentors have, they're giving lectures, they're meeting the students, and these are the people who will be future employers, future partners, future funders of our students. And so they're leaving with their own network, right? Because we know how important it is to know people who are leaders in the industry that you're interested in. The program is structured based on the venture development process. It's a studio-based program. There are 5 half-semester studios, and it tracks, as I said, the venture development process. So the first studio is discovery and insight. We help people identify pain points, identify needs in the world. We help them do research. The next studio is problem reframing. So once you understand the situation, you need to think more deeply about the issues that are really going on, and you need to find a way to innovate within the problem you've identified. The next studio is explore, fail, and solve, which is a prototyping, an intensive prototyping session. Then we go on to business model and finally scale. If you are a designer, you know the studio process, you know that it's an environment that's very safe to experiment and to iterate, that faculty guide you. It's not a lecture-based program. So this is not so rare in design, but it's very rare in business and engineering that you learn by doing. The 2 classes at the bottom are leadership classes, and that's where we support your progress through the venture development process with fundamentals of leadership, understanding who you are as a leader, understanding how to be a leader within a small team and be a leader within a larger network and organization. So these are really essential skills that you can't succeed as an entrepreneur without. And then in the spring semester for the second 2 studios, there's another leadership course called Scaling Entrepreneurial Leadership. So those are issues of how do you run a company? How do you engage a board of directors? You know, what do you need to know about IP? All the things that are gonna prepare you to be successful and in the world. We have thought a lot about what we want students to get from this, and the reason that this studio-based structure and pedagogy matters is because people learn to frame challenges and understand challenges in their future context. So typically, if you're in a lecture class or you're in a business school and you're studying cases, you're studying things that happened in the past. But this is looking at what's going on in real time, in real life. It teaches you how to solve complex challenges, and pretty much everything is complex now, right? Because everything is interconnected. No matter what you want to do, it's part of a larger social system, environmental system, business system, whatever it is. We teach people how to iterate and innovate that way, to experiment, and making to learn, so that it is based on the premise of a design class, in that you are you are researching through making, you are prototyping through making, you are refining through making, and that's how you end up in a short period of time with a venture that you will be ready to launch. It integrates multiple perspectives. So it's not only business, engineering, and design, but we have scientists, we have experts from various fields who come in to lecture. We have, I'll show you next, one of our member of our advisory team. So we work really hard to bring all of the potential relevant perspectives into this program that exists at ASU and in all of our networks. You will have experience leading and facilitating processes, because in order to be a founder and a leader, you need to know how to be able to do that. And also practice communicating at multiple levels and across perspectives. So communicating at a team level is very important. Communicating with the media is very important. Communicating with potential employees or funders is very important. And all of those things are built into the program, and we give you opportunities to practice and learn them. This is a really wonderful man named Carl Vredenberg, who is one of the most senior designers at IBM. And I don't know if you know much about what IBM has done over the last 10 years, but they're 109 years old now, and they were one of the classic engineering companies, right? They built computers. They were all a company driven by engineering. And they had a female CEO who's just stepped down, who charged the company to become a design-led company. So they went from one designer in a group of 12, these numbers, don't quote me on these numbers, but from a small percentage of designers to an equal number of designers to engineers. And Carl's one of the architects of that change. And he's also sort of living proof and a pioneer of this notion that when you get out of school, it's absolutely essential that you be ready to partner with people from other disciplines. So you won't be working only with designers. You won't be working only with people who think like you do. You'll be working with salespeople and engineers and business people. And so this is another way to get that experience before you leave school. I should also say that we view entrepreneurship as taking place anywhere. So some of our students are launching ventures that they want to lead, and some students want to, and some of them have already gotten jobs in big companies. And I'll talk about some of the jobs that students from programs like this get. So the programs are all in development. We're going to be looking at another end of semester presentation next week. But just to give you a sense of the diversity, we're interested in having people come and do whatever they are interested in doing. So we have student ventures in agriculture. We have a number of them in arts and culture. Some people are working in improving business environments, and some are looking at urban cities. So it's built in natural environments. There's a venture in education. There's a venture in solar energy. There's one in fitness and health. There's another venture in elder care. One in innovation. How do you measure and teach people innovation and translate that into something that companies can hire with confidence, knowing the quality of innovation that they're going to get. There's a team working on a new medical device. There's another group working on tech support. We have a winemaker in the group who is looking at how to establish a consortium to help lots of winemakers in the industry succeed and hang on to their vineyards instead of having to sell them, so they can pass them on to future generations. And then we've got another venture in youth development. So some of these are for-profit, some of them are non-profit, some of them are very high-tech, some of them are low-tech or no-tech. So it doesn't matter what you want to do. Our faculty is prepared to help you launch whatever it is you want to do. We have brand new space on the corner of University and Rural. Our classes are hybrid now. Some of the students go into the studio, and we have a student whose visa's office didn't open, and so he's working from Cape Town, South Africa. Another student is working from China, and they're working with a partner who lives in Tempe. So right now it's a hybrid course. This just gives you a sense of the space. The space was designed to support innovation and collaboration and team building. These walls, the space is set up so that teams can sort of create their own individual office space and work with some privacy when they're not in class together. This is Tom Prescott. He is an alum from the Fulton Schools of Engineering, and he is the benefactor of this program. He believed in it enough to give us a gift to launch it. And Tom has been working with entrepreneurs for at least 15 years. And one of the reasons that he wanted this program to be developed is that he did not see students who were ready to go out and launch a company. And so he wanted people to be road tested. He wanted them to actually have the experience. We obviously, our very first cohort is in the program now, so we don't have alums that we can tell you about, but programs like this that are transdisciplinary, that are experience-based, are opportunities for careers. Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, you can start your own company, but it's also a highly sought after kind of skill profile for running innovation labs, for going inside a company and launching new divisions or new businesses. Anybody involved in corporate innovation, any title within innovation title. And we have more on that if you'd like to know more. And I am going to turn it back over to Jackie to talk about application requirements.
Thank you, Cheryl. So for everybody joining us this evening, if what Cheryl has been talking about resonates with you, if you are someone who feels like you have that entrepreneurial spirit, that drive to create something of your own, then we hope that you will consider applying to this program. We are currently accepting applications for our next cohort, which will begin in the fall 2021 semester. So in order to apply, you do need to submit your transcripts from your undergraduate study. As Cheryl mentioned earlier on, we accept applicants to this program with any bachelor's degree. So if you have a bachelor's degree in any undergraduate discipline at all, then you have checked off the first application requirement. ASU allows students to submit unofficial transcripts via the online graduate application. So that is the quickest way to get that piece taken care of. And then you would just need to submit your official transcripts to the university once you have been admitted to the program. You are welcome, however, to submit your official transcripts right away as well if you'd prefer to do so. If you are an international student, you may need to meet ASU's English proficiency requirement, and there are a variety of ways for you to do that. Many of the standard tests that students might be familiar with, like the TOEFL or the IELTS, currently have remote versions of their tests that students can take right now if you're not able to take those tests in person due to COVID-19. ASU has also recently started accepting the Duolingo English test for English proficiency, so that's another option that you can look into as well. And then with regards to specific application requirements for MSIVD, you will need to submit an up-to-date copy of your resume as well as a letter of intent. And I would say that the letter of intent is one of the most important pieces of this application. It is really your opportunity to introduce yourself to the faculty in the program, to talk about the things that you are interested in and passionate about and why you feel like you would make a good fit for this program. It should be no more than 2 to 3 pages, double spaced. And like I said, it is your opportunity to present yourself to the faculty and talk about why it is that you came to MSIVD. If you are moved to the next stage in the admissions process, then you would be invited to participate in a brief online interview of about 30 minutes or so with some of our faculty leads from the program before you receive an admission decision. So as I mentioned, we are currently accepting applications for the fall 2021 cohort. Our priority application deadline is coming up on January 15th. We will continue to accept applications on a rolling basis thereafter, although I do encourage any students interested in the program as well as scholarship opportunities for the program to apply by that priority deadline. So the link at the bottom of this page here is to our website for the program, which will then contain a link where you can get started with the online application. So I believe that with that, we are going to turn it over to questions. So if you haven't already and you have any questions about the program or about the application process, please feel free to leave them in the Q&A section of the Zoom webinar. I do see we have one question already in the chat saying, is this only for master's students? So this is a master's program, so you do need a bachelor's degree before you're able to apply to this degree program. Yes.
I would also say two things. I would love to know if anybody wants to put in the chat what you're currently studying and what you're interested in doing. I would love to try to have a remote conversation if you feel it. But the other thing to think about, this is it's a very transformative program, right? These kinds of things change people. They change people because you come out with best friends because you've been through a really exciting and intense experience together. But what you should be thinking about is whether you have a passion to create your own future, and whether you have a burning desire to start something on your own. If you are an illustrator and you know that you want to be an illustrator and you want to get to be the best illustrator in the world, this program probably isn't for you. But if you have a broad curiosity about what a business that you found could be, and how things work, and how you can create an enterprise that reflects you and your interests, or create an organization that solves something that you're really interested in, then I would say this is a rare opportunity to learn to do that.
Thank you, Cheryl. So I think that we will, let me see, I'm actually seeing a couple of things popping up in the chat now. So someone joining us this evening, Michelle, is currently majoring in business administration, and she would like to start her own business.
Fantastic, Michelle. That's great. And so what's interesting for business students, right, is that because we have business students who have joined, and they're really important members of the team because they understand how to launch a business. But what they're getting from working in these transdisciplinary teams are working with product designers and working with designers, systems designers, and working with engineers. And so it's very, very exciting to understand how how people from other disciplines approach problems, how they think about this. And so, yeah, we would be thrilled if you were interested in applying.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, we talked about how this is a transdisciplinary program, and it's unique in the sense that students get access to faculty and advisors from all different fields. But it also is unique in the sense that we want to have a really diverse set of students as well in terms of their educational and their professional backgrounds. So you get the opportunity to learn from people who did something completely different from you in your undergrad as well. And you might have people all working on the same team with you who are experts in different things, and you all get to share that knowledge with each other as you're working on your venture. I would definitely love to see if anybody else wants to share what they're working on, or if you do have any other questions, feel free to send them in. I also don't know if Cheryl, you want to move to the next slide really quickly so that I can just share with everybody my contact information. As I mentioned, I work with students both in an academic advising capacity and through the admissions and application process. So if you feel like you are interested in the program, if you have more specific questions about applying, or if you wanted to set up a time to talk one-on-one, please feel free to contact me. Right now, email is actually probably the best way to reach me. Unfortunately, with working from home, my call forwarding is a little bit unreliable, but you can definitely leave me a voicemail at that phone number as well. So yeah, we can give it another minute or two for any more questions to come in, but feel free to contact me afterwards as well.
Jalen, oh, sorry, Jackie. I'm looking at your question again, Jalen. You don't need to be a master's student to apply to this program. You just need to have an undergraduate degree. So it is a master's degree program, and so there are no undergraduate classes, but you don't need to have a master's degree.
Right. And I actually would say, just to elaborate on that, that at ASU, you can also apply to your master's program while you're in your senior year of your bachelor's degree. So you don't necessarily have to have the degree conferred either. We definitely welcome applicants who already are finished with their bachelor's degree and have some work experience as well. But we also have students who just graduated this past May and applied to the program over the summer and are going straight into their master's program after finishing their bachelor's as well. Well, we are scheduled to go for another 30 minutes, but if you don't have any questions for us right now, we can probably go ahead and close this out. If you do have any other questions and you want to throw them quickly in the Q&A box, feel free to do so. But otherwise, I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for joining us this evening. We hope that this program is something that you're interested in. And if you do have any other questions, or if you do want to talk more about the program, I hope that you will reach out to me, and I would be happy to schedule a time to meet with you and discuss it. So I think I will.
Looks like a quiet group, Jackie.
Yes. Thank you, Michelle. Have a great evening. Okay, we will, I think, go ahead and wrap it up. And I hope to hear from you all. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.